All right. So here, so far, now we started working on different layers of DevOps, where we have been working on all the tools individually, right? Hmm. So what is that we have been doing? Hmm. First, we understood how do we manage code, then how do we build the code, how do we test it, how do we release it, store it under a build repository. How do we store it under a build repository? Then how do we containerize the artifact where we convert that into an image? How do we test that image? And then the primary part where we understood how do we manage the orchestration. And what is Argo? This we will come into the picture later. And how do we manage configuration for Ansible Terraform for infrastructure? Okay. So now all these tools are acting individually, right? These tools are acting individually. They're not related to one another so far. But now, see, the problem is every single time, whenever the developer makes a change, whenever the developer pushes the code to the source code repository, we have to manually pull the code, build the code, manually test the code, manually release the code, then again convert it into an image, then again manage this, okay, the orchestration. So whatever we have been doing so far, we have been working on it in a complete manual layer. Like we have been going ahead, we have been completely working on it under a completely manual layer. But now the problem is on a production environment, this can't be done. Like on a production environment, we need to automate this. We need to automate this. So how do I mean by automation is every tool will be performing its own job, but then we are going to be introducing somebody who's called as Jenkins. Now, this Jenkins is going to act like a manager. This Jenkins is going to act like a manager. So what is this manager is going to do? So he's going to help us manage all these tools in sequence, manage all the tools in a sequence. So in Jenkins, we have something called as jobs, where I can tell Jenkins via in a format of a script, like what to do. So I can tell clone the code, build it, test it, containerize it, deploy it, everything. Got it? And whenever there is a change happens, Jenkins will clone it, build it, test it, containerize it, deploy it. This is exactly what Jenkins. Jenkins is a CI/CD manager, continuous integration, continuous delivery manager. Okay. So, one second. What is Jenkins? So you've seen the introduction already. Jenkins is an open source automation server used for continuous integration and continuous delivery. So what is continuous integration? Continuous integration means cloning the code, building the code, testing the code. Continuous delivery means releasing the code, managing the artifacts, and building the code. Again, containerizing. Continuous delivery means orchestrating the deployment means orchestrating the code. Okay. It automates tasks related to building, testing, and deploying software. Jenkins achieves this by implementing CI/CD pipelines, which automates various stages of software development lifecycle. Got it? So what Jenkins does, guys? Jenkins help you to manage every stage of your build lifecycle. Build, test, and deploy software. So what Jenkins does? It helps you with continuous integration, continuous delivery, automation. Okay, so these are the primary things what Jenkins helps us with. Automation. Jenkins automates many tasks that are previously were manual, such as building, testing, and deploying code according to simply learn. Okay, why they're saying simply learn? Anyways, so this is exactly what Jenkins does. It will help you to automate every process, but it will not help you to directly automate. Okay, it will not help you to directly automate. First, you should know how to use individual tool, how to set up, how to work with individual tool. Then you can bring in Jenkins to automate. Got it? So now what we'll do is, some more details. Jenkins is open source. Again, it's free to use and it is a Java based project. So whenever you are working with Jenkins, we have to make sure that we have to install Java. And to install Java again, sorry, to install Jenkins, there are three options. I can go ahead, I can install Jenkins in a classical way. We can go ahead, we can install Jenkins in a classical way, like by installing Java and then by downloading all the native dependencies, setting up everything manually. Or we can also install it via containerization model. Yeah, so we'll see how to install and configure Jenkins in today's class. Continuous integration, continuous delivery, automation. It's open source, it's Java based. Yeah, and these are the reasons why we are going to be going ahead, why we are going to be working with Jenkins, guys. So whatever the task I want to perform, I can have Jenkins perform all of this. So I'm going to just set up all those tasks and I'm going to configure Jenkins that if whenever there is any trigger, any build or any change happens in the code, go ahead and start performing each and every single task. Build it, test it, release it, containerize it, deploy it. Yeah. So now we are going to see how do we set up Jenkins. So Jenkins can be installed in two ways. One, using native package manager. Two, using container platform, containerized platform. So what is containerized platform? We already know Docker. I'm referring to Docker. Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's see how to set up. First option. Install Jenkins using native package manager. So what we are going to do is create a Ubuntu EC2. Yeah. So you guys, you can just take any Ubuntu VM. We are going to open security groups, SSH, right? So that's 22. and 8080, that's for Tomcat, and or let's open all ports. For this time, we'll just open all ports. Okay. And that's it. Hmm. And now let's follow the steps, guys. So yeah. So let's create a server. Jenkins lab, Ubuntu. Security groups, I'll say all ports. Storage 8, I'll say launch. So here in the browser, meanwhile as the server is running, I'll say install Jenkins Ubuntu. Installing Jenkins. Yeah. So let me go with this document here. Step 1 to install Jenkins. Okay, there directly we need to install Java also actually. Installing Jenkins. See guys, you have different options. You guys can install Jenkins via Docker, Kubernetes. Kubernetes, how can we install Jenkins means we have something called as Helm. Using Helm package manager, we can install Jenkins. Linux, Macs, Windows, we have different options. So here I want to install via Linux and Ubuntu distribution. And you have this documentation here. So first thing, in order to install Jenkins, you need to download the repository separately along with the key pair. Yeah. And then update it, install Jenkins, but you need to make sure that you have Java installed on your local machine. If Java is not installed, well, Jenkins cannot be installed. So this first. So first update the machine, install Java, right? Check for Java version, then followed by the steps. So let's run this. The SSH address, terminal. All right, so this is a brand new server, guys. Now here, if I say Java, Java cannot be found. So they have some options for me to install, but here I'll just go with these options. First, update the system, then install Java OpenJDK and paste it here. All right. Now, if I say Java hyphen version, so Java is installed, guys. Now, once Java is installed, so I'll just copy this. I'll also update it in the notes. Install Java. Then followed by these steps. Install Jenkins. Yeah, that's it. So now if I just run the same steps on the server, so it's going to go ahead, it's going to start installing Jenkins, guys. Once it's installed, we just need to start it. All right, so looks like it's installed. So let's check it out. So then you need to enable Jenkins. Then start Jenkins. All right, and then check for the status. You guys will see it should show active and run. Perfect. And it should be active and running. And Jenkins by default it runs on port 80. So if I say sudo net start npl, you see Jenkins, it by default it runs on port 8080. So let me also copy the steps here. Start status. Right now, if I just copy the IP address of the server, colon 8080. All right, I can see Jenkins is up and running. Got it? Yeah. Okay. Now, once Jenkins is installed, so there is a password for Jenkins, guys. So where is the password? We can just extract. This is the path. So just copy this path. It says sudo cat, and in this path, if I hit enter, so they will give us a password. So just copy the password and paste it here. We'll have the access. Customize Jenkins. So once Jenkins is installed, guys, as we discussed in the last class, Jenkins has something called as plugins. So we need these plugins in order to go ahead, in order to working with Jenkins. All right. So now we'll just say installed suggested plugins. Once Jenkins is up, access it on public IP colon 8080. Provide password. We provided the password. Now configure credentials, guys. So here you just need to set up a username. Username is admin, password is admin, confirm password, admin, full name, confirm. So this is the IP address where Jenkins is running. Save and finish. All right. So this is our Jenkins dashboard, guys. Now we'll look into the dashboard in the next class in deeper. So this is one way to install Jenkins where I went ahead, I have configured everything manually, right? We have configured everything manually. We have updated Jenkins, we have installed Java, we have downloaded packages, so on and so forth. We have provided password, updated profile, and logged into Jenkins, right? So that was one way to install. So this is installing Jenkins via native package manager. This is one way to install. And now let's look at the other way. Okay. So here now we are going to install Jenkins with Docker. Now this is super easy, guys. So installing Jenkins with Docker is a very popular option, very easy option. So how do we do it? Very simple. First, install Docker. So here on the local server, do we have Docker? Docker is not installed. I can install it. apt install Docker. Oops. Docker is installed. So if I say Docker is installed. Sudo systemctl status Docker. It's running. Docker images. Let's modify permissions. Now if I say Docker images, no images, guys. So Docker has the official Jenkins image on the Docker registry. You have the official Jenkins image. So here, if we search for Jenkins, you have Jenkins. And again, guys, same. Whatever we set up the classic Jenkins server, you're going to get the same output. You can go through the documentation here. So Docker run, Jenkins runs on native 8080, guys. Jenkins runs on classic port 8080. Yeah. So, but already there is one Jenkins server running on 8080. So what we'll do is this one we will run on 8090. So we can switch the port. And this is the classic image. So this is the image name, Jenkins / Jenkins. Okay. So we'll just copy this and we'll execute. Now we'll say docker run -dt -name Jenkins -p external 8090 internal 8080. Yeah. All right. Docker ps. We have the Jenkins server running. We have the Jenkins server running and it's running on 1890. Okay. Now let's try to access it. So if I go back, if I copy the same IP address, if I just switch it to 1890, so let me just stop it. Server is not responding, guys. Actually, it's a T2 micro server, no? So it's probably hope so the server did not crash. Server is not responding, guys. Looks like it's crashed or because I'm already running a Jenkins server. So usually Jenkins is little heavy, guys. We don't run Jenkins on a T2 micro. That's the reason. So already I'm running Jenkins. On top of it, we started Docker. So anyways, but same thing. Once you install with Docker also same option, but make sure you either take a larger server, like if it's on Azure, you take something standard B2S, which comes with at least two CPUs, 4 gigs of RAM. Or if you are working on AWS, you go with T3 medium or T2 medium. So two CPUs, 4 gigs of RAM, same component. So you guys can either install it in the native classic way or here with Docker. See, they have all the steps here as well. 256 GB of RAM. Okay, guys. 10 GB, I already gave 8 gigabytes of space. That's also another problem. And here they're saying they need to create a new network. Okay. They're creating a new bridge network. Jenkins Docker. Search for Docker drive storage. Yes. You guys can run these commands. You guys can run these commands, but the best way is here. Where is that? You guys can simply go ahead. You guys can simply run this command. Docker run -p 8080 colon 5050. So actually, uh, hmm. So why they're exposing it on two ports? Because 8080 is for default. Okay. That goes ahead, that is running your classic Jenkins, and 50,000 they are trying to go ahead, they are trying to link JDK. So because Jenkins also need Java development kit. Okay, so again, if you're running Jenkins, just execute it with this command, or just install Java on the local machine, like how we did classically. Install Java on the local machine. So I'll just copy this command. Install Docker. After you install Docker, you start Docker. All right. Once you start Docker, then you modify Docker permissions sudo chmod 666 var run docker sock. Yeah. Same guys. Then access Jenkins on public IP colon port and provide password. That's it. So here today we have just seen how to install Jenkins. So we'll just pause the class here, guys, as it's a Saturday. Looks like not a lot of people have made it. So on Monday, we will go ahead, we will take a deep dive into Jenkins, like what are the options that Jenkins gives us. So how can we go ahead, how can we create a job, and under the job, what are the different options that Jenkins gives us. Okay, the server is not running anyways. And how can we integrate multiple different tools under Jenkins? What are pipelines, what are scripted pipelines, declarative pipelines? We'll go ahead, we'll start exploring everything on Jenkins on Monday. Got it? Questions? Clear? All right. That's it, guys. That's it for today. See you guys on Monday. And before Monday, practice how to go ahead, how to install and set up and configure Jenkins. So all the notes are updated here. And I'll also be sharing a special documentation, guys. This is related to all command cheat sheet. Okay. So this document has all the commands that you guys need to know, starting from Linux up to Kubernetes, Prometheus, Jenkins, everything. Okay. Yeah. So thank you, guys. See you guys on Monday. Bye, guys.